Hi friends and new friends, I'm Tao of Satoshi, and you're watching Cash Alternative TV. Most of you watching this will know who Roger Ver is. He's one of the earliest investors in Bitcoin and is known in their community as Bitcoin Jesus. Recently, Roger attended an interview with the team from Epicenter where they discussed Bitcoin's promise and the problems surrounding it. As you can imagine, Roger is quite excited about Bitcoin.
My hobby since I was my early teens had been studying economics, and I obsessed. I guess hobby isn't a strong enough of a word. I obsessed over learning about economics in a similar way I've obsessed over promoting Bitcoin for the last 6 years. And the more economics I studied, the more I realized that violent intervention into the free flow of goods and money is retarding the entire world's rate of economic growth and preventing the entire world from becoming as well off as it otherwise would have been. And the way that that's done is by governments controlling money and controlling the flow of money. And then when Bitcoin came along, I saw it as, oh my God, this is a tool that allows every single human being on the planet to interact financially with every single other human being on the planet. There's nothing anybody can do to stop it. That's going to increase the rate of economic growth for everybody in the entire planet, make the entire planet better off, and make the entire planet have more money, which means we're going to solve cancer sooner, we're going to solve AIDS sooner, we're going to have international or interplanetary space flights faster, we're going to have the human lifespan extension faster. Like, the entire world is going to be a better place. If you want to heal the sick and help the poor and help all of humankind, the way to do it is through economic growth, and Bitcoin helps that for the entire world by stripping away government's ability to control the economy and control the flow of money. So what nerd isn't excited about, interplanetary space flight and life extension and curing every disease and artificial intelligence coming sooner? Like, how can these not be exciting things? And Bitcoin helps bring all of that to makes all of those things happen sooner rather than later. So it was just like, of course I have to do everything I possibly can to help the whole world realize what an amazing tool we have for the advancement of humankind in the form of Bitcoin.
He seems very excited. However, he concedes that just because Bitcoin has first mover advantage and network effect, that the crypto race is far from over.
Bitcoin isn't guaranteed to be the winning cryptocurrency in the end. Bitcoin has to compete against all these other cryptocurrencies as well. And network effect is important, but it's not nearly as important when it comes to cryptocurrencies as it is with traditional currencies. And that opens a whole other can of worms for us to talk about, but that's one of the things that I'm the most concerned and most active with in regards to Bitcoin at the moment.
He goes on to explain the problems that Bitcoin has with reaching a consensus.
Consensus through censorship isn't consensus at all. And I think we've seen a lot of that, unfortunately, happening within the Bitcoin community. One guy that unfortunately controls a lot of these social media sites, like named Thamos, has basically said you're not allowed to have a dissenting opinion and post it on. And if he wants to do that with his own private property, like, I agree, but like on our Bitcoin, that's not his property. It goes against the actual rules of Reddit itself. And I think that's doing their whole community a really, really, really big disservice, since more people from the general periphery area of Bitcoin, people that are just mildly interested in Bitcoin, more people get their news from our Bitcoin than probably every single other Bitcoin website combined. And for the fact that you're not allowed to have a dissenting opinion on there does the entire Bitcoin ecosystem a really big disservice. And I think we've seen a bit of an example of just how big of a disservice that is in regards to segregated witness. If you had only looked at our Bitcoin and the Thamos-controlled Bitcoin-related properties, you would think that segregated witness had 99.9% support, and everybody's so excited about it, and everybody's going to adopt it from day one once it's released. And turns out that wasn't the case. It wasn't even close to being the case at all. And it turns out a lot of people are really unhappy with it. And I think we lost months and months and months of what could have been open and productive discussion about that sort of thing due to the censorship. And that's a really big problem.
Well, Roger, you know that Dash has a solution for this problem through its second-tier masternode network. The largest stakeholders, who have put up 1,000 Dash collateral, have a say in the direction of Dash. Subjects are put to a vote with a consensus being reached in days, leading to no lost development time, and more importantly, no censorship.
This isn't a problem that caught us by surprise. We knew for years in advance that the blocks were going to become full and that we should do something about that. And the current Bitcoin core team didn't do anything about that.
Through its decentralized governance, Dash reached the decision to raise its block size to 2 megabytes in just 24 hours.
If Bitcoin is supposed to be an open financial system that allows everybody in the world to participate on even footing, We shouldn't trust people that resort to suppressing dissenting opinions or censorship to maintain Bitcoin as this free and open network. We should support people that support free speech and trust people that support free speech and free and open discussion of Bitcoin to be the ones to maintain Bitcoin as a free and open financial network. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't support the current core team, and because they've deviated entirely from the original Bitcoin white paper and the original plans of Satoshi, which is what I signed up for, all these other early adopters signed up for.
Roger, the currency with the mindset that you share is waiting for you. You would be welcome in Dash Nation. We support open dialogue and have the tools to reach consensus quickly.
Almost makes me want to bring tears to my eyes when this whole ecosystem that I knew and loved and thought was wonderful was filled with a bunch of people that supported free speech and a free and open financial network now are resorting to censorship and suppression of dissenting opinions. What happened to this community that I love so much? How could it change so much into something that I'm opposed to? People should be allowed to talk about the ideas they want, and people should be allowed to pay the people they want. Those two to me seem like almost two sides of the same coin. And I guess it's just part of this big tent that's happened with Bitcoin. Now there's so many people involved in Bitcoin that there's a lot more people with different ideas.
Yes, as any project scales, there will be a tug of war over various ideas. The trick is to have a way of resolving the various ideas and come to a consensus over what the community wants. Bitcoin didn't have that, and Dash, through its governance system, does. We will scale and avoid these stalemates. Next, Roger mentions the importance of having a core team developing digital currency who understand the principles of economics as well as the principles of technology.
Another thing I mentioned recently, it's one of the most basic tenets of economics. When something costs more, people will use less of it. Bitcoin transactions now cost more than they did previously, which means people will use less of it. If Bitcoin transactions are free, people are going to make a lot of them. If Bitcoin transactions cost 50 cents, they'll make less of them. If Bitcoin transactions cost $50 each, they'll make a lot less of them. That's one of the most basic rules of economics. When something costs more, people use less of it. And a bunch of these Bitcoin Core Blockstream roadmap supporters, and I'm not using that as a dysphemism, that's the best term I have to describe them, but they mocked me for saying that and said that you're an idiot, and Roger, how could you think such a stupid thing? But of course it's true, and anybody that studies economics will realize that. So I think that there's a real divide between the people that are coming from the business and economic side and a bunch of the people who are coming from the technical side.
Dash agrees with you here as well, Roger. Dash's founder, Evan Duffield, has a background in economics as well as technology and has applied his economic principles in various areas of Dash. Keeping transaction fees low is a priority, incentivized nodes is important, and decentralized funding is a must. Roger's beginning to see that there are other solutions, and as you can imagine, he's getting flack for it from all sides.
The people that are in the Bitcoin Core Blockstream Slack group, and that's not to say that that represents everybody who's in that camp, but I went and told them, I said, doesn't this worry you guys that these people are busy trying to integrate altcoins because Bitcoin hasn't been allowed to scale? And they mocked these companies and they said they should leave Bitcoin. I hope blockchain leaves, they suck. I hope Coinbase leaves, they suck. This is crazy talk. This is absolutely insane that people with that sort of view are involved in this sort of thing. And I understand that doesn't speak for everybody, but then, there's I'll name names like Greg Maxwell, one of the Bitcoin Core Blockstream developers. Recently, he keeps accusing me of shilling for altcoins and wanting to hurt Bitcoin. I didn't buy any altcoins until very, very recently because I was so scared that Bitcoin wasn't going to be allowed to scale to keep up with demand. And the other concern I have about Bitcoin is the privacy isn't nearly as strong as we thought it was initially. So I bought a couple of privacy-centric altcoins that maybe will have as good or better scaling than Bitcoin, and at the very least have more room to scale today.
I wonder if one of those was Dash. As we've seen, Dash agrees with everything you've been saying about Bitcoin and has solved the issues that you described. There is space for you in Dash Nation. Could you do it?
Cryptocurrencies are different than dollars and euros and yen. It is incredibly easy to switch from one cryptocurrency to another, and we have wallets like the Jax wallet with Shapeshift built right in. If you're sick of Bitcoin and its high fees, boom, you can instantly convert your Bitcoin to whatever other coin you want for a very low fee. That makes it really, really easy for the whole ecosystem to switch to whatever cryptocurrency has the best properties as money.
Right now, that's not Bitcoin, it's Dash. May the best currency win.
I guess it's good to take a step back and look the problems and the things we're arguing about, like they're like the absolute best problems we could possibly hope to have. Like so many people are wanting to use Bitcoin that we're having to argue about how to accommodate all the new people that are using Bitcoin. So that's a far, 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 cry away from what we were, in 2011 when I first got involved.
It's a dream come true. Digital currency is amazing, and I look forward to the growth in the space. That's all I have for today. Until next time, remember that Dash is a digital alternative to cash. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Cash Alternative TV. Bye now.